Lego-based therapy is a structured approach to help children develop the three prime developmental areas: emotional, social, and communication. So how this works is, under adult facilitation and supervision, 3 children take on the roles of engineer, supplier, and builder. Each role has its own rules and objectives to fulfill in order to complete building the Lego kit. This strategy was originally designed for children on the autism spectrum. However, it can be adapted and applied to interventions for children who require social and emotional learning. Let's say the goal is to build a Lego like this. The engineer reads the instructions, instructs the supplier on which blocks are needed, who then passes them on to the builder. The builder confirms this with the engineer on where and how to place the blocks. Here, communication and comprehension skills are used, alongside joint attention skills because this construction is a group effort. The roles are interlinked and indispensable, so to complete the task, they must establish effective and respectful communication. When conflict happens, they learn how to refine their language and behavioral cues to resolve the issue. This hones their conflict resolution, problem-solving, and teamworking skills. Also, the children try on all 3 roles, learning to think from different perspectives, touching on their awareness skills. So, why would we implement LBT over other strategies?
So as you can see here, we have a comparison between other social skill interventions and LBT interventions. LBT avoids a huge limitation that shows up in more traditional programs. They're boring and disengaging for the children. Also, the skills learned often can't be applied to other settings, meaning what's practiced in the clinic or classroom does not always transfer to the real world. By incorporating a skill build into an activity children already enjoy, we boost engagement and ultimately efficiency. So what makes LBT different in practice then? Well, the way the learning actually happens is taught during the activity itself rather than skills being taught separately with the expectation to transfer later. Another difference is that it imitates a real social interaction through this structured play setting. Yes, the activity has clear roles and rules, but it still feels like play rather than formal teaching or therapy. This helps children to engage naturally with one another. Because of this, the skills are not just practiced in theory, but actually embedded into the activity itself. This is what makes LBT different from traditional approaches in which the skills are practiced in isolation, might not carry into real-life situations. What has previous research on LBT shown?
Research has shown that LBT is very effective in improving social interaction in the long term. Social skills, emotional development, and peer relationships also benefit from this intervention. Equally, structured social play has been found to be essential in developing interactional skills of children with ASD, which is the core of LBT. Previous studies have also shown how an adult's facilitator skill, confidence, and flexibility are key to how much the children are engaged and motivated to take part. There is still a lack of research on children's perspective on LBT in comparison to the amount of recorded information taken from staff or parents, resulting in studies that are not truly reflective. A study acknowledged the disparity and created an interview schedule that accommodated to specific needs. The study illustrated how LBT is a fun and creative approach that received positive responses. However, there were contrasting opinions from other students who disliked the switching of roles and losing the control that the builder position gave them. They provided feedback such as including more roles and a competitive aspect to the intervention. Overall, listening to the students' voices and suggestions can be useful for making effective changes to the intervention to boost engagement.
How can we implement LBT into schools?
So, implementing Lego-based therapy into schools requires a structured and evidence-informed approach. The first stage, explore and prepare. Children are chosen relevant to their needs. Then, appropriate schools are selected along with planning staff roles and session logistics. Staff learn the theoretical principles of LBT to ensure the intervention is delivered properly and effectively. The second stage, delivery, starts with a pilot project testing the practicality of running these sessions and any necessary changes on the delivery of the intervention.
How is progress tracked?
During the stage sustain, progress is monitored through targeted outcome measures and strategies and then adjusted based on feedback. Furthermore, the children learn to transfer skills beyond the classroom, such as in play and group activities.
So what happens after this stage?
If the pilot study is successful, the scale-up stage would proceed, expanding the program to more children, schools or age groups. Can you explain the roles of EPs in this?
EPs are central to successful implementation of LBT. They facilitate and evaluate the intervention by assessing which children and schools will benefit the most depending on social, emotional, and communication needs.
What else do EPs do to support LBT?
Good ask. EPs train staff in their knowledge of LBT, like their strats and session management, to ensure smooth delivery. Another thing EPs do is encourage reflection, so staff can critically evaluate and adjust their approach to maximize benefits. EPs make use of data to monitor progress of the intervention. They consider things like social, communication, and teamwork skills to provide feedback to guide adaptations. Lastly, EPs connect and communicate with schools, families, and other professionals to reinforce skill generalization beyond LBT sessions as a joint effort. Do you have any practical recommendations for schools and EPs?
Well, for schools, these sessions must run regularly. I recommend maintaining small groups to boost participation, referring back to Melville, at the end of the session, including a short reflection to collect personalised feedback. Evans and Bond also highlight the importance of addressing potential barriers such as staff turnover, time constraints, and behavioural challenges. Then EPs should offer guidance on assessing the progress of skill building and supporting the staff with training and troubleshooting. They should also monitor outcomes to provide feedback for ongoing improvement and encourage flexibility to meet diverse needs.
These were the references used for the vodcast. Thank you for watching.